Let's take a look at attendance in Canvas at BMCC. So as instructors, we're required to take attendance in the first week and then at the end of the quarter. So there's an attendance button in the upper left, click it. That takes you to the attendance page here. It'll take a minute to load, so it'll spin for a moment, it'll grab all your data and slap up the page. What data is it grabbing? Well, it's reaching out to Canvas itself and saying, hey, has the student viewed any pages or done any assignments recently? And so here I can see student A on Wednesday, 9/22, viewed 124 pages. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Now that's 124 views, I should say. So some of that could be the same page multiple times. Here they actually completed 2 assignments. So that's what that button's for. And it'll bring up the student's name for me and show me what their assignment was, what they got on it. And then I can click here if I want to get to any assignment details there. The green is a present. A red would be an absent. So maybe on day 2, I expected this student to interact with me. They didn't. So I click once, it marks it green for present. I click twice, second time it marks it red for absent. The stripes mean that the data is not only recorded in Canvas, but it's also saved in our student information system, CNS. So here I can see this is not yet recorded in the student information system. I have to hit send to CNS if I want it recorded. Now we're required not necessarily to take attendance here, but to get attendance data into CNS. So you could go into your faculty portal and there's an attendance view there. That one's kind of a pain in the butt, but feel free to use it. I have another video on using that one. Here I'm in Canvas working with my students. It makes more sense for me to do my attendance here in Canvas. So for any particular week, for week 1, I needed to make sure that every student had an attendance record. And you can see I have one student that doesn't have any attendance records. That student is a fake version of me that I stick in every course because the test student doesn't do everything I want it to. So I have a fake student I put in. That fake student doesn't exist in CNS, so I can't record attendance for him. So that's just a whole nother issue. But my real students, they all have attendance records. All my students attended, they did something the first week. Now, this is a multi-section class. I have a Zoom section and an online section. You can see most of my students are online. The attendance program in Canvas here treats online students different than it treats on-campus students. So for example, online, my students need to do something to count as attendance. And so anytime they have this box here with something in it, like a 2, that means they did an assignment for a grade. They should get marked for attendance for that. My on-campus students or my Zoom students, I expect them to come to class to count for attendance. And so on my class on Wednesday, if they were there, then I'm going to mark them off. Now, I didn't take attendance for my Zoom students on Wednesday, but I did on Friday. And again, this one right here is my fake student, the blank one. So my 3 Zoom students did attend class on Friday, 9/24. I sent that to CNS. You got to click the send to CNS button once you do attendance. So I'm just going to head over to my current week here. I am currently in week 5. And I'm just going to do some attendance for fun. You can see my online students, anytime they did something, it was marked green for attendance. But my Zoom students, that didn't happen for. I have to decide if I want them doing something in Canvas to account as attendance, or do they actually have to show up to one of my Zoom sessions, right? So student A actually came to Monday's Zoom session, so I'm going to mark him as present. Student B here, they were in the Zoom session. I'm going to mark them as present. Student C down here, they actually didn't come to class, but they did something, so I'm going to mark them present anyway. If you want for your Zoom on campus students, anytime they did something in Canvas for a grade to count, there's a button up here that says mark activity as present. If you just click that, then that button will search through your attendance. It says, do you want to mark all unmarked days with course activity for the term as present? Yes, I do. Go, please. So it's just going to look back through all my weeks here, and any place that a Zoom student or an on-campus student did something for a grade, it's now marked green. But notice it's not yet has the diagonal slashes through it. That means CNS doesn't know about it yet. So now I'm at the point where, okay, I've gone through, I've checked stuff off. Let's double check week 5 if I want to do anything else. No, that looks pretty good. And again, I'm going to ignore my fake student there and send it to CNS. You got to send it to CNS. Otherwise, it doesn't get recorded. If it doesn't get recorded, then things like financial aid will not happen for that student. Registering for the next quarter will not happen for that student. Please, please, please mark these, send to CNS. If a student doesn't attend at all the first week and they don't get in touch with you, you should send a note to student records saying, hey, this student never communicated with me or showed up for the first week. They probably should be dropped. It's your call to make. All right, when this timer is done, then you'll get a little message over here on the side that might say 2 records were not found in CNS. If that happens, just send it again. Every once in a while, the communication between Canvas and CNS doesn't go so well, mostly because CNS has some issues that it's still working through and may never recover from, but you never know. All right, that's it for now. Your attendance is taken. Once that timer is done, check back with this page later and make sure it came out okay. All right, so the timer ended. I have no red message over here that says some records weren't found in CNS. And when I look back at my records here, I can see all of my records that were just flat green are now green striped, meaning they are recorded in CNS. So I have all my attendance. If this third student was a real student, I might have a problem because they have no attendance records here. But again, that's my fake student, so we're not going to sweat it. But hopefully you have attendance records for all of your students. So that means for at least 1 week in the beginning, like week 1, you have green in every row. Or if it's red in a row in the first week, like you recorded absence for students and they never got in touch with you, then you should get in touch with the student services about whether to drop that student. Thanks, take care, do good work, bye-bye.